Hey everyone, welcome back, and today we'll check a Xoriant. Okay, Xoriant question, and it's asked in 2003. So this question is simple, okay, simple to solve, but you have to understand the basic nature of each compound. Okay, there are like multiple ways to answer this question, but we'll see those ways. Okay, so in this video, and if you're new to the channel, you can click on the link above. So I'll just ping the entire playlist link. You can go through that. Okay, so please take note of that. So that will be very helpful for cracking the interview. Okay, so you can also check through the segregated playlist. Okay, so we have separated playlist as well, so kindly check on that. And we'll get started with this today's session. Okay, so today's use case is how do you solve this. Okay, the recruiter asks, they'll be telling you we have an input of 100 records, and then after a component. Okay, so you have to find out the way to to convert that 100 records to 1000 records. So how will you do that? So okay, even seniors. Okay, so you can think of that. You have many ways you can think of that, and then you can comment your own way. Okay, so I'll just tell my idea. I will get started with this session. So here, the recruiter's expectation would be, how do you solve this like a puzzle? Okay, so these are like puzzle type of questions. So that's kind of some companies may ask. Okay, so recently in Deloitte, they have asked some questions. Okay, regarding regarding some like I said, right, dedupe question. Okay, so dedupe question, and then some rare puzzle. Okay, and then we have a plan question. Okay, so there are like questions which will come out of like which will make you think. Okay, so you have to think that. Okay, you have to think, and then you have to answer. Okay, so it will make you make you think, and then bring your and bring out your own solutions. Okay, so you need to bring out that. Okay, so that's the expectation in the interview. So the concept checklist should be for this, which component. Okay, which component, or you can say like how do you design. Okay, so how do you design ETL for this. Okay, so be it a simple one, or complex like plans. Okay, so whatever way, whatever way do you think of. Okay, whatever method you think of, you have to fit in, and then you have to make sure those 100 records are converted into 1000 records. So that's the main goal. Okay, so that's the main goal. We'll start with the ETL design. Okay, so I'm sure like there's no code involved. Okay, so much of the code, only configuration involved. Okay, so in the first way, so we'll just see the first way. Okay, so the first way. Okay, so on the simple way, it's a simple one with a basic component. Okay, so by now you should have known. Okay, if you are senior. Okay, so junior, I'm not sure. Okay, how much you have other grip, but the seniors, if you guys are, if you guys are wondering, then you have to strengthen your basic component knowledge. Okay, so what can be the component? So here, I'm going for reformat. Okay, so in the reformat, suppose here, you have 10 records coming through. Okay, so suppose I'm just telling you. Okay, same 10 records coming through. Okay, go like coming into the reformat, and then in reformat, what can be the configuration? Okay, so what can be the configuration that will make you know that will make your 10 record into 100 records? Okay, how would you do that? How do you do that configuration? So that's the part. Okay, so in reformat we can do. Okay, so in reformat it can convert 10 record into 100 records. Okay, similarly, for the given use case, 100 records into 1000. So how will you do that? Okay, so for this you should understand that component, component or parameters knowledge. Okay, parameters like like end to end. Okay, so you take any component, you have to understand the end to end scenario use cases. Okay, use cases around that component. For example, like like a day, we have seen the dedupe component, right? Like so like that, there are like lot of use cases around each component that you have to practice. So make sure you visit the component, you study that. And okay, so many of you like guys, like many of you haven't even registered in this site. Okay, so use your company's ID to register here, and then to go through the videos or help file whatever. Okay, so Abinitio team, they have provided reliable and useful source there. Okay, so please do study the entire thing there. Okay, so how do you going to configure? Okay, so that's the goal here. So config, we have what are the important parameters? Okay, so in reformat, so first one would be count. So what will I do is that, let's say, I'm passing 10 records. How do I going to, I'm going to configure the reformat? So by, I will be converting the 10 records into 100 by using a count. Okay, so count, if I give, okay, so you have, you have, say, if you give count equal to 1, so that means you have one output, right? So when you say count equal to 2, so what happens? Okay, so there are like that, you have to see if your count is 2, what are the, the two outputs will come. Okay, apart from that, okay, apart from uh, two outputs, okay, so which is out 0, out 1, so what are the other ports that, that will be available? Okay, so this is one question asked in TCS. Okay, so, make a note of this. A simple question. Okay, so if you increase the count equal to 2, what are the other ports that will be available? Okay, extra, like, okay, be it, okay, so that other ports are regarding log, error, reject. Okay, so you have to find out, if I increase the count to 2, will I get 2 logs, or will I get 2 errors, or will I get 2 reject? Okay, so you have to know, you have to understand everything. Okay, so I know basically, like, developer, they will know everything. Okay, when they are working with the component, like configuring everything, they will understand the changes as well. Okay, so coming back to our use case, so I'll be increasing the count to 10. If I increase the count to 10, what happens? I'll be getting 10 outflows here. Okay, so what happens? 10 records will go to the reformat. Now for this, you have to understand the runtime behavior. Okay, so you have to understand the runtime behavior. Okay, so runtime of reformat. So after count, okay, so count is 10, so that means 10 outputs will be there. How do I make sure I pass all those 10 records? Okay, how do I replicate that? Okay, so, how do I do that? Okay, so for that, you know you can, okay, you can give specification 10, and then what we can do is that, go to transform. Okay, so transform, you can, you don't have to specify anything. Okay, just leave it blank. Okay, so, no need of declaring output index or indexes as well. Okay, nothing. Okay, so just configure the count equal to 10. That's it. Okay, and then you can, and then, configure this, and then you run the reformat. Okay, so you either you put all this flows into one output file, or different, whatever. Okay, our goal is, we have to convert this 10 record into 100 records. Okay, so that's one of the way, by using component. So this is like first way, no, with the basic component. Okay, so second way would be, everyone knows, like, can use a replicate, right? So second way would be replicate. Okay, so I'll just telling you multiple ways. You can comment on your own way as well. Okay, so other easy way is that, you can, you can just use a simple replicate. Okay, so replicate to replicate the data. Okay, so I'll just use a replicate, and then I'll bring that, all 10 records, and then I'll just, like, gather, or I'll just put in one output file. Okay, so what are other ways? Okay, so other ways I can do this. Okay, so what are other ways you can think of? So there's like one another way. Okay, so by using contact 80. Okay, so in this case, here, how do you configure the graph? So here, suppose 10 records coming in. Okay, how do you configure the, by using contact detail? How do you configure subplan now? Okay, so how do you configure subplan now? Okay, so to make sure, to make sure you get 100 records from 10 record input. Okay, how do you make sure? Okay, so by passing, 10 records to the subplan, you make the property. Okay, you make, you change the property of a subplan, you give the iterations. Okay, so iterations equal to 10. Okay, so no need of, no need of, no need of, like, specifying the loop value. Just, iterations 10, and then you will, whatever. Okay, let's say whatever graph task, whatever graph task inside subplan will run, okay, and then okay, so it will run for 10 times same graph, and then what you do is that okay, so will run for 10 times, and what you do is that in the output file, okay, so your graph task will have the the transformation reformat or whatever, okay, so in the output you can just give the append option. Okay, so my flow would be input task, I mean input file, and then goes to, suppose I'm considering a plan, okay, let's design a subplan, okay, if you open the subplan, just open that, okay, so open the subplan, and then you will get a graph task, okay, I'll just say graph task, and then in the graph task I have one input file, it goes to output file, let's say, okay, so input file, output file, so in the output file I'm just giving a append option. Okay, so your plan runs for 10 times iterations, and then every 10 times it will just upon the same data you will get 100 records. Okay, so you'll get 100 records from the 10 recurrent. Okay, so that's there are like other ways as well. Okay, so whatever that came to my mind, I just use this. So it's like also in Xoriant. Okay, so I'm not sure now they hiring for Abinitio. So be candid with the market. Okay, so analyze which company is hiring. Okay, so be candid with the market. Okay, job market, and just analyze which company is hiring for okay. So hiring, and then be strong. Get strong with the basic component and like those areas. Okay, so it's like a puzzle. Okay, this question is like a puzzle, like you use case. So we'll just come up with another community request or another topics. Okay, and if you want me to like deal and come up with some general topics, okay, so I've got some general topics. Okay, so for this weekend I've got some general topics, okay, so which would be resume optimization. So which I will I'll just use whatever, okay, I know, okay, I'll just detail this process. Okay, so what can you do with your resume, so to get to get at least land in to get landed in first round at least. Okay, so that's very important. So you have to get the calls, and then you have to get the first round. Okay, so that's very important. Okay, so and another topic, okay, I'll just come up with another topic. So if you have any topic for to discuss in this weekend, just comment down. Okay, so I'll just take that input, and then I'll just process that. Okay, so there are like other comment requests which is pending. Okay, so soon I'll just solve that, and then I'll just put up in a video. So until then, tata, bye bye.